What's going on? What's going on?
What's up?
It's your boy, Smooth Blaze.
It's Marty Mar.
And welcome to another episode of
Real, Raw, and Rational.
Now, before we get into episode 6, I can't believe we at number 6. That's crazy.
Yeah, we made it.
We making this money.
We doing
We
this.
trying to make this money.
For sure.
But what we're going to do is make sure that you tune in and like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Also, hit that notification bell and select all so you do not miss one video. Now, as we come in to this new episode, the first thing we have to focus on is our inspiration piece by Marty Mar.
Definitely. All right, so I'm going to dedicate this inspirational piece to my pastor, Dr. L.R. Martin, who passed away this week. This was from his last message that he preached, and I'm going to read the text, Matthew, the 4th chapter, verses 19 through 21. And he said unto them, Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. And they straightway left their nets and followed him. And going on from thence, he saw other 2 brethren, James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, in a ship with Zebedee their father, mending their nets, and he called them. So when we think about the first thing that we have to do is to follow him. We have to follow Christ. We have to have a strong relationship with Christ. There's so many things in this world that can distract us, that can throw us off course, but we have to stay on the course. We have to stay on that road of righteousness. And he says, Follow me. I will make you fishers of men. You know, at first they were just fishermen. They were out there casting their nets, catching fish. But we have a greater work to do. And that's to lead others to Christ. You don't have to be a minister. You don't have to be a preacher. You don't have to be a teacher. But we all have a message to teach. We all have a message to preach. We are all evangelists, and we should all be willing to lead someone to Christ. And it says, in straightway they left their nets and followed him. They didn't take their time. It says straightway. And that's what we should do. We shouldn't take our time, but we should do things immediately. We should follow him immediately. We should do his will immediately. We should follow his way immediately. And it says, and they followed him. And going from thence he saw 2 other brethren, James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, in a ship with Zebedee their father, mending their nets, and he called them. And that's what we have to do. If we're able to reach 1, we have to try to reach 2, 3, 4, as many people as we can reach, as many people as we can spread the message to. Follow him and be fishers of men. And again, that's dedicated to my pastor. Condolences to his family, prayers to his family, condolences to the church family. I love you all.
Oh, beautiful, Marty.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, it came from the heart.
From the heart.
The only thing that I would add to that is the importance of being an example of Christ. Not walking around with a Bible in your hand, not throwing scriptures in people's faces, not looking down upon the next person, just using yourself as the beacon of hope through Christ so that you'll be able to do these things. Because at the end of the day, man, people ain't trying to hear scriptures all day. And the scriptures are very essential, and I definitely believe in them. But at the same time, who we are is a definition of selling ourselves for Christ.
That's right.
So always remember that.
That's true. You know, and it's like people have to look at us. You know, they see the light within us, and that can cause them to want to change. So I feel that, man. I feel that.
All right. You up here preaching, man.
Yeah,
I see you got a new calling, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. All day, every day.
So man, okay. Now we got this spiritual feed. Our stomachs full from our spirituality. Next, we will talk about finances. This money man. So, I have a new question to ask you for this week. Are you in control of your money, or are you in bondage? Meaning, every time you get paid, every 2 weeks, every once a week, every month, when you're looking at your money, who is really in your pockets? Is it cable? Is it the rent? Is it credit cards? Is it student loans? And is it a car note? And what I mean by that is, are we okay with being owed to or enslaved or in bondage to debt? Because we're told it's good debt and bad debt. Debt only means that how well you are able to pay something off. It does not define whether or not you know how to sustain a actual good life for yourself. So I ask you this question, and I want you to really deeply understand what that means. You don't want to be in beautiful bondage just because everybody else is struggling and doing the same thing. So always keep that in mind.
That's true, man. I really think it's a combination of both. I feel that anytime you are in debt, you are in less control of your money because you owe lenders and creditors.
Most definitely.
You are more at peace when you are paying on time, but you don't really have that true freedom until you are debt free. But also, if your debt is manageable, now this is an exception. If your debt is manageable, then it can be an exception to that. You know, so you just want to be able to have enough income, or really more than enough income, to take care of those debts, you know, because as soon as those student loans, as soon as you sign up for those student loans, it's going to hit your credit just like that, you know, and you're already in debt. Same thing, you just talked about the car note, you know, as soon as you go to that car dealership, you sign off on that loan, you're signing up for debt, you know, so just make sure that you can manage those things and also save at the same time. I feel like if you can't save, hey, you're not in control. If you have more debt to the point to where you cannot have savings, to where you don't have a level or basically a cushion, then you're not in control. So, I mean, again, just think about things before you make a purchase. Think about things before you sign up for them, because again, it looks good. It looks good on the outside, but sometimes it's not always what it's cracked up to be.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Don't get something because somebody else got it. Don't go get that Charger because everybody else got the Charger. Don't go get that Challenger because everybody else driving the Challenger. Hey, do what you can afford. Do what you are comfortable with.
And it's okay to save. It's okay
Definitely
to live below your means.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that you're broke. That means that you're strategically moving through life so that you can get things done.
Yeah.
So always keep that in mind, that you got to make sure that you navigate through these spaces and get things done the way that you want to get done.
That's right.
So never underestimate and never devalue the idea of being out of bondage.
Facts.
If you are in bondage, if you have a lot of debt like I do, you're in survival mode. But once you start getting rid of things little by little, you have a breath of fresh air. It's a difference between you going to this job because you trying to make money just to pay these people versus you trying to go to this job so you can advance in another aspect of your life.
Yeah.
So always keep that in mind.
And I feel that, man, because it feels so good not to have that car payment. I have one now, but when I didn't have one, it just felt, you could feel that freedom, you know, because that's a big chunk of money that you're not putting out there. So again, all these shiny cars, they look good.
Most definitely.
They look good. Once you sign up for that, that's 4, 5, sometimes 6 years that you are locked in. So again, just be mindful of what you're doing before you do it.
Preach, Marty.
Yeah.
So let's get off this money tip and get into some fun stuff, because we getting a little too serious out here in these streets.
Man, let's talk about it, man.
So let's get to the business. Now, it's a blessing to be in a situation where you have a legacy, or you create a legacy for yourself.
Yes.
Well, whenever you're ready for you to retire, you just walk away.
Definitely.
So it would be an honor and a privilege to talk about Coach K from Duke University. Man, that man's name is on the court.
Yes.
And he's still coaching. And after this year, he will be retiring. And I hope that through March Madness, he'll be able to get his last championship. That would be a great way. But if not, his legacy is already cemented. So, Marty, what you think about his retirement?
All I can say is this. 1,097 wins at Duke. He's coached 113 NBA players, including Grant Hill, including Zion, including Kyrie. Legendary.
And B.I.
Man, the guy has coached the USA Olympic team.
Numerous years,
man. I mean, hey, what can we not say about Coach K? When you've had a great career, you know, some people, they want to keep doing what they're doing, but when you can look at your legacy and say, man, I'm going to step back. That's one of the greatest things. When you can stand back and look at it. Some people, they keep doing what they're doing. They die doing what they're doing.
Right.
And when you have that, but when you stop and you are able to retire and you can just look at this guy, he'll be able to go back to games. His children will go to games and see his name there. His grandchildren will. So again, Coach K, congrats. A great career. Man, it's truly amazing what you've done.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Hey, man. I just hope that I could have a legacy like that. Not in no basketball realm, but business-wise, oh yes, Lord.
Man, any type of legacy that you create, man, it's just something to be proud of, man.
Especially for your children, your future children, and your future family. Like,
definitely.
It's a different feeling when you can tell your kids that I'm a boss.
Yeah.
Like, I tell myself when I can leave.
Oh.
I tell people when they need to come to work. I hire people. That's a whole different level.
That's a different level, man.
So that's goals.
Definitely. RealRawRational, man.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Now, next, we go into the NBA lane, since we already talked about NCAA. Russell Westbrook and his wife responds to these death threats from Lakers fans.
Ouch.
I understand your frustration with how Westbrook is playing. However, I don't agree with the aspect of you threatening his family.
Definitely not.
That's a no. And the thing is his family has nothing to do with the aspect of him playing. His family's there to support him morally, because at the end of the day, he's going to have his family, whether or not he has a catastrophic injury or he just loses everything. He has his family there. So for you to come out here and disrespect his family is meaningless. And honestly, they are scared to go to the games. Home games. So the thing is I don't want to agree with that. But Westbrook, you ain't off the hook. I will say this. When you try to flip it and make it about the media doing all this stuff, no sir. The media doesn't do that. The media critiques how good or how terrible you playing on the court. We're not going to sit here and say this is one of your best years playing in the NBA. It's nowhere near it.
No, definitely not, man.
So keep that in mind. And the word that you need to start using is accountability. Be accountability for all these turnovers that you give. Have accountability for these broken jump shots that you have. Be accountable for these missed easy layups that you've been messing up. Just keeping it real, keep it honest. We keep it real, keep it raw, and we keep it rational. Just be accountable. When Magic Johnson calls you out on this stuff, don't take it personal. He's a diehard Laker fan. He was there when Lakers was getting whooped by the Boston Celtics, getting beat, laughed, and humiliated. So he holds this with a different type of pride. So just imagine how Kobe would feel. Imagine how Wilt Chamberlain would feel. Kareem, Shaq. Shaq already been going off about it.
Legendary.
So let's just keep it real. You got anything, Marty?
Man, Westbrook, I mean, I feel like this. I feel like these athletes, they are men first, and they are athletes second.
Right.
So we have to respect them. We have to respect their families. We can't go too far. Fans can't go over the edge, you know. And this is going too far, you know, when you're threatening his family, when you're threatening him. It's going way too far. And with this, you can also just see how diehard some fans are, you know. Think about the money that they pay for some of these seats. But again, that still doesn't give them the right to say some of the things that they say and to do some of the things that they do, you know. So again, I mean, you have to remember, they're men first.
Most definitely.
Some of them have families. Give them that respect, you know. Now, I can understand some trash talk.
That's fine.
Nothing's wrong with that. But when it's going to death threats, I mean, you're going too far. You're going on a whole another level that you shouldn't go on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No question about that.
Yeah.
Shoot. I'm tired of talking about these Lakers, but let it go.
Got to, man.
We need to switch the whole section to NFL because this is some foolishness. I don't even want to talk about it.
No, man.
But
No more NBA talk right
let's
now.
talk about these major trades and these major signings, man. The biggest one that shook me was the Broncos acquiring Russell Westbrook in a signing trade for Drew Luck and a multiple of draft picks.
That was epic. Epic.
Man.
You know, in my opinion, it's a great move. I feel like Russell Wilson has at least 5 or 6 more good seasons left in him. You know, at least 5 or 6.
No question.
I mean, when we even think about this past season, he threw 25 touchdowns, only had 6 picks. You know, the guy has a lot of gas left in the tank, and I think what the Broncos did was truly amazing. And if they put the right team around him, they'll definitely make the playoffs.
No question about that.
Yeah.
And I think he's excited for this challenge. I know Sierra's happy. She
yeah.
leaves Seattle, rain in Seattle. But I think this will be a good opportunity for him. He have a fresh start.
Yeah.
Because let's just be honest, that whole thing about he should have gave Marshawn Lynch the ball on that 1 yard line that second time they went to the Super Bowl. He should have. That's been hanging over the halo over that due to the idea that he done killed this whole game. Why he don't run the ball off and then the Patriots go in there and win?
That's true.
So I think it's good for him to have a fresh start from that standpoint. Also, he ain't had no weapons in Seattle.
None.
And the defense was not what it used to be.
No.
So it was time for him to move. I'm just grateful he got his money and he hit the deuce.
Yeah.
Real talk.
I mean, that's what it takes sometimes. You know, some athletes, when they're in what used to be a good situation, you know, they begin to get comfortable even though that situation starts to turn sour. So, I mean, this is great for him, great for his family, and definitely great for the Broncos and the Broncos fans.
Man. Speaking of the Broncos, I done saw some clickbait on a couple days ago regarding Antonio Brown and Kanye West.
Oh, wow.
Both of them need some mental health therapy ASAP.
They both do.
But they talking about, man, we want to buy an NFL franchise. The Broncos.
The Broncos, man. I can't speak on behalf of AB. I can't do that. But something that I've got to tell you all out there. Do not count Kanye out.
Why you say that?
They said he wouldn't be the best rapper. He became the best rapper.
Yeah.
They said he wouldn't become a fashion icon. He became a fashion icon.
If you want to call that fashion.
They said that he wouldn't run for president.
And he took a hot L.
He took that L, but his name was on the ballot.
I was shocked when I saw that. I thought that was a joke. I'm like, why
His
is he?
name was on the
and
ballot.
People actually voted for this man.
Man,
like,
they did, man.
Ugh.
So all I can say is that he may not make the purchase, but I do believe that he will make an attempt. I really believe it.
Man, they up there talking about we gonna try to get 3 or 4 people together, but they start realizing how much it takes to buy a franchise. Not only you have to have the money, you got to be in a certain get approval.
Oh yeah.
To get that. So they put in all this parameters. So ain't no black person gonna run no franchise. Let's just keep it honest.
It's gonna be some years, man.
Yeah. So the thing is, NFL is one of the most, I'm saying, racist places that you would want to be at, because at the end of the day, owners gonna be owners. They don't really care for the players. They continue to get more money while they putting their bodies on the line.
Oh yeah.
And honestly could die from this. Like, all jokes aside, like, I know it's a game, people get hurt, but where are their guarantees? Where are their benefits package after they leave?
They need that.
So when I look at this, it's a great idea. Overall, it's a great idea. And I know Dame Dash was trying to get Oakland Raiders. He wanted to buy them and stuff. And he said if he couldn't do that, he'd just get his own league. And I can't knock him for that.
Yeah.
But the important thing I learned from this is ownership. These two are crazy. They might be doing this for clicks and bait or whatever. But it's a good idea as far as ownership.
Yeah. I know even too with the controversy, the Colin Kaepernick controversy.
I'm still hot about that.
Man, Master P, that's what he kept preaching. We need ownership.
Big fan.
We need to start our own league.
Mm-hmm.
And when we think about all the artists, all the entertainers, all the actors and actresses that are black, they can put some of that money together and start a league. Just think about how amazing that would be, man. It would just be...
It's coming.
Man,
I see it.
I believe it is.
It's coming.
I really believe it is.
So we're going to see how long this foolishness lasts as far as the NFL, but my thing is, what is it, 65-70% of the league is black.
70%.
And it's only a couple specks of black people that's over the teams as far as coaches and GMs. It's foolishness.
Ridiculous.
So we got to do better. We got to do better.
Got to.
And the last story about my boy. He's a bad man. Shout out to Stephen A. But my boy A-Rod, I'm shocked by this, but at the same time I'm not. This brother signed a 4-year, $200 million contract deal with the Green Bay Packers. I think $195 million is guaranteed. Golly. Woo. I mean, when I look at that, I was shocked by him signing back, but I understood if he leaves, that started fresh. They was already in the playoffs. All they had to do was win one game against that sorry team, the 49ers, and they've been good. But my thing is that I ain't even gonna say Aaron Rodgers choked at all, because I watched it. When it got close to that line, people was missing that ball and dropping passes. So, how you feel about this nice 4-year contract?
It's all building on me right now. Hang on now, give me 1 minute.
It's a lot, ain't it?
It's a lot.
Dude. But he deserved it, man. Like, he got the MVP this year too. Man.
I just got one word.
That dude's amazing.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. He won 1 Super Bowl.
It don't matter.
And that was in 2011.
10.
We were using iPods back then. We were using MP3 players back then.
Hey man, I still use mine. I ain't talking, man. Shoot.
The Oprah show was still on. 106 in Park was still on back then.
Man, I miss 106 in Park, man. That was the truth. For real.
Tom Brady's 2-year deal was only $50 million.
Please don't compare.
And this guy gets $200 million for 4 years? Ridiculous.
You know what's ridiculous?
Ridiculous.
Tom Brady. Lowballing himself, which is messing up the market for the rest of these quarterbacks. You should be grateful for Aaron Rodgers. For these
$200 million.
Take Aaron Rodgers off the Packers. Who are they? Just keep it real. They're just a bunch of players.
I'm just outraged.
I love Dalvin Adams. I love Aaron Jones. Them boys cold.
They are.
Without the head of the snake, just another team.
Man, he's a great player. He's amazing.
Mm-hmm. But he got 4 MVPs. I think it's 4, 3 or 4. But that ain't easy.
He's got MVPs.
And he don't make a lot of mistakes. His passing to interception ratio is ridiculous.
But $200 million for 4 years?
I mean, your boy Dak got overpaid. He ain't did nothing.
Man, that's my boy. That's my boy, man. That's my boy.
I'm just saying, man. They paid him and Jerry Jones ain't want to.
Look, Green Bay, you're gonna regret this.
They ain't gonna regret nothing.
You're gonna regret this, Green Bay.
They ain't gonna regret nothing.
Mark my words.
But man, please.
Man, I couldn't believe it when I saw it.
He is a legend.
I
they ain't regretting nothing. But
yeah, we gotta keep going. We
got
keep
to.
Going, man. Got to.
But man, what I came across and what I thought about, not only just outside of football, outside of the finances, outside of the inspiration as far as spiritual side, I looked at my mindset and I said, what really happens if a person stays too long in therapy? Because I know it should be an end date for anybody. Because it's all about unpacking the things that you're dealing with in order to rebuild it and put it back together so you can be whole. So if you're in therapy for 5 to 7 years, are you really learning anything? Because at some point, he or she should tell you, you good now. You don't need this right now. So what you think about that?
Man, I think about it similar to medication. You know, someone needs painkillers for something that happens to them, you know, some injury or whatever, and then what happens is they start to abuse them.
Right.
You know, they get hooked and they start to abuse that prescription. And that's the same thing I think about therapy. You know, I think that there are times that we need it, and it should be there when we need it.
Right.
But if we're overusing it or if we begin to abuse it, then it can affect our decision making. If I can't make decisions on my own at some point, it's even worse. You know, if I can't control my emotions on my own at some point, then it's going to continue to get worse.
Right.
I shouldn't have to constantly just keep going and keep going and keep going. The same thing with a prescription. You know, you may need a refill every now and then, but at some point you should be able to maintain without that, depending on what your illness is. You know, so again, there are some people, you know, depending on how severe their problem is, and they may have to keep going, but if it's not that severe, then at some point you should be able to become self-sufficient.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And I think another thing, Marty, is just the idea that we go there to talk about our problems.
Yeah.
But are we actually listening to who has no dog in the fight and has the ability to ask questions that
That's
make
true.
you think differently? Are you
That's
really
true.
taking in what they're saying? Are you doing the assignments that they're giving you?
Yeah.
Are you really grasping what it is to actually move on and forgive the things or the demons that you have? Because we all have demons.
Yeah, we do.
So my thing is, I'm gonna start going back to mine because our work has been all over the place.
Yeah.
So it took away my ability to set time to go, but I'm gonna make that time to do that. Because at the end of the day, there's things that I deal with on an everyday basis or a weekly basis that certain things I can't fix for myself. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because it's good to be in a situation where I'm going here, then all of a sudden they like, man, we see the growth.
Yeah.
Makes you feel like you're doing something. So
Mhm.
just always make sure that you got 2 ears for a reason. You listen more than you talk. So listen to what they're saying, and then the only time you speak is when they ask you to speak about some things so you can open up so they can unpack some things.
It's true, man.
So keep that in mind.
And I've heard a similar saying, man. Somebody said, why do you think you have 2 ears and 1 mouth?
Yep.
You should be able to listen more than you talk, and there's some things that we have to take in, and when we are in therapy, when we are in counseling,
Right.
we have to put those things to practice that we're hearing from the counselor or the therapist. We have to do some of the work ourselves,
Most definitely.
If we don't put the work in, it's never gonna work.
Not at all.
So again, we have to stay focused. If it's just a simple exercise that they want us to do, we have to do it. If there are things within us that we know are there, another thing is we gotta stop lying to ourselves. If there's a problem there, we need to work on it. Or we need to tell the counselor, hey, I'm dealing with this too. There's some things that we still keep to ourselves, but we have to let that out. We have to talk about it, so
Right.
that way we can get healing, or that way that problem can be fixed as well. Yeah.
Oh, man, that was deep right there.
And it is.
You went real serious again.
Yeah.
But off of therapy tip and on the mental health tip, man, just seek help. Handle your business. Because at the end of the day, the world does not owe you understanding. The only person you owe understanding to is yourself.
That's right.
So, as we conclude, I'd like to thank you for looking at our channel.
Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
And on top of that, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Also select that notification bell so you do not miss one video. And catch us on Instagram as well at RealRaw&Rational.
Check us
This
out.
is your boy, Smooth Blaze.
It's Marty Mar.
And I am signing out, man.
All right. Peace. Love y'all.
Most love. Love y'all.